Hello everyone. So I like to build some cartooned tanks, and so I thought I'd try these figures out because maybe they're cartoony or well they'll fit those tanks. So the brand is called Suyata. They make a lot of interesting different model kits, and it says Movable Soldiers 1/35 scale and SW001. So the first in the series, Sean's Warrior series. Is Sean the designer or the owner of Suyata? I don't know. No, not the designer because it says here designed by Newton. Okay. It's interesting. That's a very Tamiya-like logo. If you know Tamiya, the brand that is. Okay, so they're 5 centimeters tall. We got a bunch of different German weapons, it looks like. And yeah, you probably don't want to swallow those things. So 14 and up. There's no. You might have to cement these parts, it says. Metal parts not included. I don't know why they would have them in the first. Anyways. But then, oddly, it says no need to use adhesive. So, I guess it's an option to cement them. We'll have to see as I put them together. So, the instructions seem to be on the back here. So, you can pause and read those instructions if you want. I'm not expecting the most difficult thing in the world. So, there we go. We'll just open this up. And I'll just leave this box right here. Okay. We have a piece of paper. So, there might be some extra molding flash in here, and I think I need some scissors for this. So it's a German gray, it looks like, as far as the color goes. My phone does tend to change the hue of what it's filming. And yeah, they look pretty nice. They do look kind of cartoony. These definitely are not the most detailed weapons. Tamiya, for instance, would do better than that. But these are supposed to be cartoons. Those helmets do look good, though. They look pretty realistic to me. Looks like we have 3? Well, let's see how many. 4 soldiers, maybe? Oh, a part fell off. Be careful of that. I'm gonna guess maybe one of these runners is the equivalent of 1 soldier, but yeah, that's what it seems like. So I'll put one together, and then it's safe to assume all the others will do the same. So I like to use my trusty old Rui tools, but I did modify the handle to be more comfortable with some polymorph plastic. So I'm gonna you'll notice there's some extra parts here. And this is part of the molding process, this thing. So this doesn't need to be here. But you know, I kind of like how they do that because it doesn't put the part under stress as if you're doing, you know, molding it on 2 sides like that. So if technically I shouldn't clip it right up against the part. I should clip it twice. But if it's done this way, there's really not much stress. So I think there's less clipping involved. Boy, that's a small part. Okay. You can obviously fast forward this. They look very geometric, these characters, that's for sure. Interesting styling going on. Looks like we have some pins sticking out of those leg parts. Yeah, I don't even think I'm going to sand these parts. I'm just going to try to put it together the way right after I clip these. I'm going to have to change the angle here. It's just too difficult. Alright, so where did I leave off? Maybe here? Well, this one, there's a bit of extra nub there because it's a curved surface. almost trimmed the wrong part. I guess these are hands. That's a tiny part, whatever that was, probably the neck joint. So these are some small figures, I'm gonna guess here. At least they have some small parts. Alright, so that looks like it's all done with. Let's see if I can put one of these together. You do want to go over, I went over 4 parts. There's a little bit of extra flash, and if you don't remove them, they're not going to sandwich correctly. So I removed it with a hobby knife there. So it seems like there's 2 parts of the torso. I'm going to start with this here that holds the neck, and the whole side is like this. So we want to hold that. And look at this. This neck is so small. You might want to use some pliers, or not pliers, tweezers like that. Alright, so that, oh boy. You also might want to do this inside of a tray. So this thing also has to go up in here. I guess it's just kind of hanging out there. You know what, I'm going to put it on the table so those things can rest. But there is notice a kink, or this thing is curved. So you want this thing towards the front like that. So, oh boy. You might also want to use pliers to have some grip, but I think the hard part is getting this thing together. These are the smallest parts, it looks like. And also this piece is, I don't think that's a square, I think it's a rectangle. So I'm going to put the longer part like this. Ah, that is just insane. This is so small. Wow, hold on. These tweezers have some teeth. I don't know how you're supposed to get that resting in there. It's not easy. So that could have been designed better, where this side maybe has a deeper, alright, cavity. Alright, so this side has the pins. And we'll just sandwich that on. I think that neck piece is proving to be problematic. Why? Why, oh why? You have to rotate it 90 degrees? It's weird, I don't... Doesn't seem to want to go together. Maybe that was it. I guess nope, still wants to fall apart. So maybe this is why you might want to use cement. I don't see much extra flash there. So that neck piece fell out. See the back side of this, see if there's any extra flash that I missed. No, it's just 3 pins. So that's odd. Well, we gotta do it again. Since this rotates, I guess the orientation of this piece doesn't matter because it's gonna rotate in there. But the neck part, it kind of does matter because it's not a round thing. So that could have been designed better, where this neck piece just has a round flange instead of a rectangular flange. Then it wouldn't matter which way you put it in. Alright, let's try this again. I don't know if, it looks like the holes are pretty circular. Oh, you see what's happening? I bet the neck is getting crushed by that plastic there, not resting in that slot. So again, I feel like this part could have been designed a lot better, where this whole neck is resting in this bottom half and can't oh, I know the answer. Build it the other way. If you put this neck piece in the piece with the holes. No, that is the way the instructions have it. Never mind. So right now, I don't see why it would be colliding. It shouldn't be. What a pain. This is torturous. I have to do this off camera. Alright, I had to resort to using cement. I like to use this stuff, limonene, because it's made from citrus and it doesn't give you a headache. You know, the fumes of the regular Tamiya, which I do have, it's bad for you. It causes brain damage. So I feel like this is a safer cement to use. So anyways, I put some in there and I squeezed it all tight, and now obviously it's a tight fit. So maybe that one part was just warped or something like that. I'll let you know when I build the other ones. Okay, so this is one part of the torso, I guess the upper part, and now it has to get sandwiched with this bigger part. Oh, you know what? This is the lower torso. Okay, so the upper part, we have to take, again, the part with the holes. Why is these two the same? Hold on, I think I have the wrong part here. Sorry. One of those parts was loose. Then you gotta take this piece here, and I guess those are where the arms are gonna join. So that goes here, and then this gets... I see. That was not the neck joint. That is the ball joint to join the torso together. I see. Boy. This is really fidgety. I do wear size extra large gloves, so maybe that's part of the reason, but boy, you have some dexterity in your hands, and again, it feels like the parts don't want to like stay tight. See, I squeeze it and let go, it just spreads apart. So again, here I'm gonna put some limonene cement there. Maybe here, maybe there, up here. Get that ball in there. Sandwich that down, hopefully. Oh man, this is really annoying. Now that fell out, so it might be just wise to glue that in. Alright, learn from my hardships. Let's shift it again. Okay. So now if I squeeze, yeah, something's holding up this corner. This extra thin stuff is good. If there's any sort of gap, you can just drop it and capillary action will suck it in. If you wipe it off quickly, it won't be too much of an eyesore. Okay, and again, it's citrus based, so I'm hoping my skin absorbing that isn't as bad as the regular Tamiya glue. Some is seeping out. I guess you could just let it dry for a while and scrape it off with a hobby knife. I'm not really concerned about the quality, the finish of these. If it looks horrible, I'll spray paint them. So that upper and lower torso have almost no rotation. That's all it can rotate, like 1 degree. So this is just poorly designed. There was no reason to have that ball if it's not gonna pivot much. Now, you know what? I might have to take that back, because the front and back does pivot a little bit. It's still not a lot, because the plastic is colliding. Alright, so I guess it could have been, maybe they leave it as a ball, but I almost wish it would pivot more. You know, see, look at that gap. It's not much pivoting going on, but it's got some. We'll leave it at that. So that is the upper torso. Now we're going to have to put the crotch on here. So the crotch, again, we want to leave the holes on the back area. Oh, but we got to make sure this is facing the right direction. And it is supposed to be like this. This is the front where my thumb is. So the part with the holes is the butt, I guess. And oddly, oh, it goes way down there. Interesting. There is a peg on the back of this thing, so hopefully that'll help locate this. Oh. This is so small. Okay, there we go. So that's not bad. That locator pin really helped out. We'll have to see if this is a good friction fit, this one. No, it's not. Again, there's some sort of warping or tension going on, so I guess I'll just drop some cement into that gap. So just squeeze that a little bit, let that cement melt those plastics together. Alright, so that seems to have done the trick. I would think maybe I got too much cement in there. But this is supposed to rotate, as you can see. I gotta keep rotating or the cement's gonna set it. Okay, so if you do get too much cement, yeah, just keep spinning it and it'll set hard. Alright, so that's good. Whew, I saved that one. So there we have the torso. Now the head, thankfully, is just one piece. So we just pop that on. Does it snap on? It looks like it might snap on. We'll have to see. Or here. It looks like there's a little edge there. I don't know if the camera shows it. Oh, nope. Hold on, let me get my glass file. Maybe I have too much plastic. A little bit of a nub was left over there. Okay. It's such a small peg, though. I'm afraid to rotate this because it feels tight. If I rotate it, I have a suspicion I'm going to just shear off that peg. Yeah. You're going to have to take that risk yourself. I'm not going to mess with that there. Okay, so now we got to build the arms. Here's the upper arm. And this has a peg of some sort sticking out. Let's see if this thing clamps properly. Still gappy a little bit, so squeeze it tight and it's still a little gappy, so I gotta put some more cement. I'll put it towards the bottom so it doesn't clog up that ball joint. Now you can see I got too much seeping out. Now my fingers are spreading it. Well, that's relatively tight. Obviously you can do the other side the same way. Let's just continue down this side. So this forearm, that has to be the wrong one. You'll notice at the top of the forearm there's a curved side, so I assume that bends upwards. So I'm going to have the curved side facing forward. Boy, this is insane. It's so difficult. I'm afraid if I push too hard, I'm literally going to break that joint over there. It's almost like... I guess there's no way. You have to assemble it this way, because you got to put these two pieces around that pivot of the shoulder. Ideally, you'd put the whole arm together first and then put it on the torso like all action figures. So that's just one pin. It's a hinge. It's not trapped or anything like that. But yeah, you can bend it a little bit. It won't bend 90 degrees, so you saw it cam out. Okay, so only that many degrees. I don't know, it's 15 degrees or something. And then the hand, there actually is a left and right hand, it looks like. And you got a tiny little peg. You might want to put the hand on first as well, before you put that forearm on, but this is... You know what? That is the wrong side hand. Hold on. Once I get it on there, I'll show you the detail of the hand. See it? I don't know if you gotta really squeeze it tight on there or what. It's like it doesn't want to pop in. I don't know if there's a little extra flash right here. That is gone now, so... So I almost feel like you might have to glue. First I'm going to take that off. The hand should probably go on first. Yeah, I think I just bent that peg. So I think you got to glue the hand. It doesn't seem to want to go in there. It's just not landing home. So I'm going to just trim off a little bit of this peg. Put some cement on that thing. And just glue this hand on. I guess maybe glue it in line with that surface so it can hold a weapon. Yeah, that's weird. It just doesn't want to go in there. Unless it was the wrong hand, but see, I'm not sure. It looks like, you know, to me the thumb would be on top and then the other fingers are down. So I suspect that's the proper hand for the left side of the body. I might be mistaken. This is supposed to be part A15. So you might want to actually assemble one based off the instructions first. Okay, so same situation. The part with the holes. Oh, and see, now you can see there's some flash that I missed. So that's going to affect the sandwiching. You got to get that flash out or it's not really going to rest right. Alright, that seems pretty good. That seems alright. I don't know if there might be some glue in that peg now. So, gotta spin these parts. Have you skipped to the end yet? If not, you have a lot of patience. Okay, so you can, I think you have to also trap the lower leg in here. And it does seem like if you look at the feet, they do have a left and right foot. So this is the foot for the left side. Thankfully it just sits there. I'll squeeze that together, and again, it doesn't really want to stay tight. So again, I have to put some glue somewhere in this thing, maybe in the middle of the inside. Hold on. Or hold on, maybe. See the top. There it goes. So you're gonna have to glue these things together. You just saw that whole thing just fall apart. The problem is you gotta avoid getting glue into the joints if you want to maintain that posability. But you might just get frustrated and just glue it all solid. At least it does give you the option to pose it. Bending the knee will help allow this other part to Get on there. Come on, stay, stay, stay. Alright, so I'm not going to make you watch me do the other half. Let me come back. So I assembled most of them except for this guy because I'm going to put him in the tank. These heads, these hands, they just don't want to stay on those pins. So I glued all the heads down after I clipped the pin. And again, the hands, you probably want to trim down that peg because the hand just doesn't want to stay there. It wants to be pushed off all the time. So I want to show you the fitting of the weapons here. The hands aren't the hands aren't Lego hands, you know, they're not perfectly round. So although you can actually jam like this rifle up in here. Hold on, it's so small and fidgety, but yeah, see, it'll hold that rifle, that's fine. But there's no way for it to actually shoulder the rifle in a firing position. You know, it's because this rifle has no handle. The MG, it does have a handle, but the handle's so thin, it doesn't, see how thin the handle is compared to the hand. So that doesn't really fit very well. This MP40 or whatever this is, same thing. It's like, it's a little bit better, but it's very loose, so yeah. The guns, you know, look decent enough, but they just don't really fit the hands very well. The grenade does work a little bit better, the stick grenade here, but it is, again, quite loose, so, see? Okay, well, so essentially I think you're gonna, I hate to say it, it's simply not a really well engineered set of figures. I can understand it's difficult to make a posable 1/35th scale figure. I mean, this is very small, but I feel if a Lego can be actually shorter, and Legos don't have a problem holding things. Legos, granted, they don't have this much articulation. But if these are not supposed to be realistic characters, which they're not quite, maybe they could have made a concession and made at least the hands better. Also, I was trying to pose the forearms in the 90-degree, and I don't think it's possible. I even tried flipping this forearm to the other side, just thinking go sit 90 degrees, but it won't do it. So that's the most angle you can get. It's just not very good for posing. The way you can get it a little bit more like this is I literally took some clippers and I clipped off some of the plastic there to get the arm to bend a little bit more. So that's the issue with that. The best part seems to be the legs. You know, they can bend 90 degrees, which is great, and then they can, you know, move forward and back a ridiculous amount, and they can also pivot in and out. So being the largest joints, I guess the legs would make sense, but yeah, the forearms are tough. First, you can't hold the weapons. And even if you could, you really can't pose the weapon, the arms, in a way to actually have two hands on the gun very easily. So, yeah, that's what I have for that. The helmet you have to kind of glue in place. You know, here's the thing. Well, you know what? Maybe not. I just glued it by instinct, but I think maybe it'll actually just sit with friction. Yeah. All right. So that's nice. You can add and remove that helmet, but I think it'll get lost very easily if you didn't glue it. Yeah, see, there that goes. Okay, well, here's a couple Meng World War II's tanks. They're the heavy tanks, the Tiger 1 and the Pershing. And I gotta say, even though these are listed as Germans, I think they could easily pass as USGIs. Okay. So, I think height-wise, they're actually pretty good. Yeah, the Tiger 1 tank is actually quite tall here, so, and then I would have to assume a Pershing is similar, being a heavy tank also. Let me get a lower angle. And so this guy here I left, you know, without the legs, so I could put him in here. And yeah, he fits in there. It's possible this torso is so small you might be able to get it into one of the medium or light tanks. It's actually quite small compared to these heavy tank hatches. It's just that I glued all mine together because I never thought I'd get a figure in them, and they were kind of floppy. So I glued all my light tank hatches together. So, okay. Let me get some sort of final pose going. I ended up putting these 4 onto a chip of acrylic with some crazy glue. And I also have to make note, the glue that I used to keep the halves of these parts tight has now gotten into the joints. So rotating the hip joints, the arm joints, all that stuff, it's not really working anymore. So I hate to say it, but I think this model kit is a fail. It had good intentions and high ambitions, but I just don't think you can make a posable figure reliable this small. Unless maybe they should have made them bulkier and more cartoony, as I mentioned earlier. If you like the styling of it, though, I guess, and you don't mind just posing them in one position, like what I have here, then I say go for it. They're definitely unique looking. They're very faceted and geometric looking. And they don't really necessarily exude German to me. The weapons do, but the helmet, you know, even though it is a German helmet, they just look like random soldiers to me. So you can pose them with other tanks or other armor and stuff like that. 1/35 is the most popular modeling armor scale, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, is when it comes to like tanks and like armored fighting vehicles. So I think it's a wise choice there. Just not for me, I guess. Just not for me. Alright, well, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next tank-related video.